I'm looking at that one. Miles over there. Yep.
No, I'm not.
I found like the Apollo Beach.
Stable too.
Yeah, Apollo Beach is like a secret.
So
If I do. Yeah, she does. She's not alone. I'm not living there. No, the Apollo Beach was down in, we were in Ruskin, we were in.
Nice, yeah, so we used to have
Yeah.
Longboat Key.
Big sign we could, everyone's walking right by.
And we were at
I think so, should put right in front of the door.
There's some nice places. You're like, it's a matter of.
For life?
Do I really want to move or not?
that's a big, I mean, I've lived all over the country, I lived in Japan, so for me.
I've lived in a lot of places.
Anyone wishing to speak? Anyone wishing to speak at the meeting tonight, please sign in up here.
I lived in Michigan. I lived
I love Pittsburgh.
but I was in the Air Force.
So,
All right, let's get going.
I'm ready. Are we gonna stand up before I take my seat?
Yeah.
As soon as I sit down, then they say stand up.
We'll call this, public hearing on the budget to order.
Just wait a second for Jose to,
Okay, Jose?
wait, can I hear it say it's recording?
Yes, I'm already recording.
Would you kindly stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Speaking order, some of the procedures here tonight, the speaking order will be determined as you signed in. And, kindly come up to the podium and make sure that, the microphone is working. It should be.
Everything should be working.
Okay, each speaker has, up to approximately 5 minutes, speak and say what you'd like to get on the record. Since this public hearing is a formal occasion, minutes will be generated, and we ask that you give each speaker courteous attention, and you might not need to go applaud or just waste time, but or indicate your pleasure or displeasure with another person speaking. Just give them every courtesy. If another speaker has made your point, you can indicate that you agree with the remarks of one or more previous speakers, and sort of really points, but that's up to you if you'd like to really. So like I said, each speaker only have one opportunity.
Noreen Labori joined the meeting.
Let's start.
Roll call,
Okay, do the roll call.
right over there.
Yeah. Alderman Simonetti,
Present.
Alderman Gidwani, Alderman McPherson,
Present.
who would you get the second one?
Joanne.
He's on the phone.
Joanne Carloni, Alderman Carloni.
Present.
Oh,
Simon.
you're not there yet.
Simon.
You're not there yet.
Not there yet.
Alderman Del Macy,
Here.
Alderman Anglaise. Yes, I'm here. Come here. And somebody pinch me. Alderman Bernie Simons,
Present.
and, Noreen has a death in the family.
She's here.
Alderman, Noreen McGuire.
Present.
Okay, thank you. All right, so let's get right into the hearing.
Okay, so the first person is Kate Kutash. That's what I get for being here first. Good evening, Kate Kutash, 275 Beardsley Road. As many of you already know, I am a member of the Board of Education and have been for over 10 years and hope to continue to serve. Here I am again for this time, roughly 20 years after the first time I addressed you as a parent. My hair is grayer, my kids are out of the school system, but I still care about Shelton Public Schools. In the mayor's budget address, he stated that his proposed budget met all contractual obligations. However, as you've been told, that was only on the city side. The Board of Education needs an additional $1.2 million over his recommendation to meet our contractual obligations. Without that funding, we will be forced to cut jobs again. Over the last 3 years, Shelton Public Schools has cut 55 certified positions. That means teachers, certified as teachers. We have also cut paraprofessionals, secretaries, and custodial staff as well. We used to run our schools with 22 administrators. Now we have only 19. We would love to be fully funded to meet other financial obligations and not be playing catch-up and make do again all of next year. We would like to be able to look at a large class size and add the needed teacher to meet our students' needs. But please, at least, find a way to come to an agreement to grant us the $1.2 million needed to meet our contractual obligations. I think the parents of Shelton would look more favorably on granting the needs of the schools over the nominal tax cut that has been proposed. Thank you.
Thank you, Kate. Next.
Mark Holden.
Okay, I'm Mark Holden, 275 Southview Avenue. It is encouraging that you're talking about funding the contractual obligations for the Board of Education. It's time to stop the war on education. I'm here to quickly address the lack of transparency considering the transportation line. Lack of transparency appears to have been a core value.
David Gidwani.
Yes.
Join the meeting.
That's a big part of the reason why people don't trust you. The reason you had to sue to get the transportation contract was nobody working on transportation for the city was willing to share any information to establish they knew what they were doing and would be capable of providing an acceptable level of service. When they finally did provide something, it was just a copy of something that Superintendent Couette had told them. There was nothing to indicate they had thought about or understood what they were saying. In the budget interviews this year, Ken Nappy and at least one alderman pointed out the Board of Education never required Durham, Landmark, or other outside vendors to release their actual expenses for the various components of their contract. The difference is, if Durham or Landmark underbid and lost money, the taxpayers of the city wouldn't be on the hook for their loss. If Shelton Student Transportation Services doesn't have enough income from the Board of Ed to cover their expenses, the budget will be out of balance, and the taxpayers will have to make up the difference. The taxpayers deserve to know that this department is being held to the same scrutiny as In one of your budget workshops, Alderman Anglace expressed his belief that actual costs are proprietary information, and he doesn't want that information to be available to people who might be competing with the city for the transportation contract next year. Is he afraid that an outside company with more knowledge and experience than SSTS might bid less than the city? Or is he afraid that showing actual expenses will show that the mayor's decision to start SSTS was fueled more by bravado than common sense? Shelton government must be more transparent. Thank you.
Matt McGee.
New Matt McGee, 312 Huntington Street. I rise to express my support for the Board of Education budget proposal. It's a very modest 2.99% increase from the prior year.
Mark, we're ready.
Towns in their current Board of Ed.
Join the meeting.
For example, the Trumbull Board of Education is currently proposing a 4.33% increase for years of underfunded budgets. And meanwhile, the Stratford Board of Education is requesting a 9% increase. Please keep in mind that this budget proposal for education in town put in front of you tonight does nothing to increase the value of the services our school system currently offers, but instead just protects against further cuts to staff and services education already provides. We have lost almost 40 positions in our school system in just the past 2 years alone. I think Ms. Kutash said it was more like 55/3. As a result, we've seen rising curriculum and a frustrating pay-to-participate system. To further illustrate my point, I would like to bring your attention to a quote from the former interim superintendent who served in that capacity all of last year. As someone who was in our schools almost every day not too long ago, I can confirm that she was disturbingly correct when she said, and I quote, "Every year we cut. Other districts don't have to cut every year. They get money added every year. We don't. We're already at bare bones. Now we're taking the skin off the bones and breaking the bones." I think that quote speaks for itself and about the state of the Shelton education system and the lack of support it's received from this board in the past 2 years. However, this year is a new budget. The city has benefited from saving money on transportation due to COVID-19 layoffs and overestimated health insurance costs, while enjoying a comfortable year of grandless growth. Because of these factors, the mayor's proposed budget reduces the mill rate by about $1.9 million. Are we really saying that, even when raising taxes isn't anywhere near being on the table this year, that we're still not willing to invest in our kids? There is no good justifiable reason to cut teachers and curriculum writing yet again this year, while also making students and parents continue to pay to participate in certain extracurricular activities. None. I hope this proposed budget on the table is revised to reflect these factors. Thank you.
I have no one else, except the mayor is on the phone. I don't know if does anyone else in the audience wish to speak?
Silence and Waverly District. Evening, folks. Tonight, I would like to speak as a parent, and also as a former Board Ed employee, as well as a temporary substitute paraprofessional. And I believe the end of 2019, I was just about ready to get a permanent position at Perry School. And the very same week that I was supposed to get a permanent position, which I loved working in the same school that my kids go to. The budget came down, and the superintendent was forced to do a hiring freeze. And I was not able to get a full-time contracted position. I had to go elsewhere, and now I work at a I was very good at my job, and I loved it. Secondly, as a parent, it's very frustrating to have
have my kids greater participation. I have kids that weren't actually set up. But that limit, I'm not able to, otherwise, it's very frustrating, very frustrating. Please, reconsider having $12 or about that for the next phenomenal. Which is brand new thing, for the tax cut, for the people shelter. When if you didn't do anything for that, then kids like mine, my daughter is right now currently traveling and had her personal best at 17. How many kids aren't able to speak simply because we want to put $12 back to her and our pocket?
Delvin Gerwin, 47.
Sorry.
Delvin Gerwin, 47. I come to speak tonight about the budget as a student. Throughout my almost 3 years in the Shelton Public School system, I have consistently watched the budget decrease and we aren't getting, we need a bigger budget increase. We aren't getting the resources. Teachers get their positions cut, students can't get the help they need. I've watched paraprofessionals quit or get fired because the school just can't pay them anymore, and students don't get the they need. They can't participate in activities. And as Michelle said earlier, if you just increase taxes by $12, we would be able to have a much more adequate budget for the school. Because the way it is now isn't working. We're just losing money. And can't keep going on like this. It's not going to help us in the long run. And we're the future.
I'm gonna. I don't know if he heard you.
Are you sure he's on the phone? No, okay, I didn't know.
Okay, well, okay, I'll say it again, Mayor, you on the phone, or do you want to? Response. Okay, so, no further people wish to speak. Motion to, submitted by Crystal. All in favor?
Hi.
Opposed? Thank you, everybody, for coming. Appreciate you coming out. Every night.
I guess